Yes. Hey, Roger.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you just fine.
We've got a boot camp class that's running about 20 minutes or 20 meters away from my current location, so...
I can hear the music. But it's not that bad. I mean, I can hear you over it pretty easily.
How about now? Maybe the music should go down a bit. If I just change that. No?
I mean, you're very easy to understand, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, cool. I got different settings on this thing for different spread patterns. So, how'd that go, man? Good? Okay, sweet. See you Friday. And I just finished up with a crew too, so I'm just checking the and I'm trying to get. I've got like 4 groups, so I actually put it out to all of them for this particular podcast. So
okay,
podcast. I always say podcast. I'm back about a year ago. I used to do podcasts all the time for to promote a couple of gyms that I own. Anyways, sorry.
It's all good. I know what you meant. It's some kind of cast.
Nice work on the poll. See you guys. Take care. Thanks. All right, see you later. I think I got another one leaving here too. Anyway, no, we used to do these podcasts because I was a big fan of Rob Wolf. I don't know if you know who that is. He's an author for paleo nutrition. Big fan of paleo nutrition. He's a big fan of paleo nutrition. I'm a moderate fan of it, not hardcore. Anyways, so we started doing podcasts because that was the thing to do. But like only 10 people actually listened, so we stopped doing them. So, okay. The other thing is that trying to get through notifications on Photocracy is just so difficult because...
Well, yeah, it's hard to... Because, I mean, I get notifications, but I'll admit I don't, jump on them. So
Yeah.
I don't really notice that it's happening until I get the calendar notification.
Yeah. Yeah. We could improve upon that actually.
Theoretically, you could set the. I mean, if you know when you're going to do it at like noon and it's at 3, you could set the event up, a few hours ahead of time. That may give people a little more head time.
I know, but I have a heck of a time figuring out how to set up. This one's actually set up as an event. The first time I tried to set it up as an event, I failed miserably and had a whole bunch of problems with it. So I just did it as a I don't know, an on-air hangout. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna check the teams and make sure nobody's having a hard time getting on. As soon as I figure out how to do that, because they just changed the trainer dashboard around totally too. They just
Just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it's actually way better, but jeez, is anybody gonna get? I had like 9 people confirm this was their best time to go on the hangout, and then I guess we'll just wait for a couple minutes. How's things going with you?
Pretty good.
Anything? I owe you an email. I've been absolutely slammed this week. I'm working 12 to 14-hour days every day, including holiday Monday. So it's on a list of stuff that I'm going to get to, and we're slowly but surely getting through that list. There. Can you just say something for a second there? I was trying.
Yeah, I was sick.
Yeah.
Last week. So, yeah, I actually felt really good. I had a pretty good workout Thursday morning. I felt like it was one of the first times where I got through the whole thing.
Right on.
And really needed to actively, see about increasing things.
Yeah.
All the pieces were pretty easy. I kind of had to. Well, my dog's going and saying, Lyra, you're fine. I had the max weight I could do. Lyra, I know there are people in the world. Come here. Come here. You're okay. Lie down. You're okay. There you go. The max weight I have, I only have so many weights, and got through it okay, and needed to start increasing, reps and sets and stuff. And then, like by noon, I couldn't even. I just kind of laid down in bed and didn't get back out again until halfway through Saturday.
Really?
I mean, I got up a couple of times, for water and bites to eat, but there was no such thing as tracking or anything. I just, grabbed whatever I could grab and then went and laid back down again.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it kind of blew my whole, the competition thing because I lost 2.5 days.
Yeah. Well, we got another competition, so that's good.
Cool.
Get in on that one.
Oh, have you done the new workouts yet? Talked about those in the earlier workout, like Monday or whatever it was.
So we're on. No, this week we're not actually publishing.
No, I know. I just, as you suggested, we probably have a bunch of questions about them. Yeah, and I probably will.
Yeah. It's on a list of stuff to do tomorrow.
Fair enough.
And the list, I'm still working on Monday's list right now, so it's gonna be. I'm looking at a bottle of caffeine tablets, thinking, is 7 o'clock too late to take a caffeine tablet? Anyways, yeah, but that actually is only like a 20-minute task for me to do that because all the workouts are already designed, and I've got a choice between 3 of them, and I might just do all 3. I just haven't made a decision yet on which kind of direction I want people to go. I might break it up a little bit depending on where people are at.
And then I did a couple of things for time, which I mentioned in the email. Like I'm sort of combining 2 exercises together just so there's less break between them, and it seems like it's a different part of the body, so I can get away with it. And right. I barely have enough time to get those through, before I really need to sit down and start working in earnest. And if I don't do it in the morning, it tends to not happen, or it ends up, by 8 o'clock in the evening when I have time to get to it again, I'm just, I have no motivation or energy, so I do kind of a lame job.
Right, so first part of that question, yeah, it's okay to superset the exercises.
Okay.
And, yeah, like, for example, in Fortius, there's a Just let me pull them up real quick. But yeah, long story short, the exercises are actually all laid out that they're not hitting the same muscle group. So
Right.
it usually goes upper, lower, upper, lower. That's
exactly how I've managed. I just kind of crunched them together, so I'm going up, down, up, down.
Yeah, perfect. Now the only issue with that might be that if you start to get a lot of fatigue, and you're
and if I'm totally out of it, I'll sit down and drink some water and recover a little bit. But if I can keep moving faster with fewer breaks, I figure I can get the workout in, and if it saves me 15, 20 minutes out of the total, it's 15 or 20 minutes I can use.
Absolutely. Okay.
'Cause I suck in the morning, but I have the energy to work out. I just don't have the energy to get up with enough time to work out.
Right. Well, something to work on. The other thing, though, I wanted to point out was the box jumps.
You don't like those?
Like, they're 20-inch box jumps. Those are going to be kind of high impact right now, and we are building up to those. But the step up should be hard, I guess, is my point. If it's not hard, you're doing something wrong. So, and the step up is more.
I have that. I was doing that to 24 inches, and it wasn't. I mean, it was easy.
Do you have any weights you can hold on to?
Yeah, I can grab some weights.
And you're doing them with the one leg placed, and it stays up the whole time?
I put one leg up,
like
step down, switch the other leg. Do the other leg.
No, don't.
You just want us to do one. Okay.
No. There's a video on. This is the other thing. I had a problem with. For some reason, I swear I loaded up the Mulliganor videos 4 times, and every time they got erased. And it turned out to be something was wrong with photocracy had changed something or something. I don't know. Okay. So I finally got frustrated, and I just put the videos onto
your website.
Yeah, and there's a video of the step up, and there's 3 videos about the step up. And it's about 8 minutes long, I think.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
Yeah, so just look at proper step-up positioning number 2.
And what's the URL for that website again? I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I can look it back up in the.
Oh, I got it. Feed. I got it. I'm sending it right now.
You can just paste it in the chat. There it is.
There you go.
Oh man, that's really, 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 really hard.
Kind of hard to forget.
Yeah.
Except for the H, maybe. Okay, so yeah, new workout is coming. Challenge is up. And yeah, Paige, you got any? How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Who's Frank Turner?
He plays with a band called the Sleeping Souls. He's from England. Like bluegrass, crazy.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Definitely something different.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up just for fun. Something to listen to while I'm working. I could probably be going till midnight tonight.
Oh, check out his newest album is Tape Deck Heart. There's a song. Tattoos is really good. I Want to Dance if you need like energy and moving around type of music. That one's also a lot of fun.
Tape Deck Art? Is that what it's called?
Tape Deck Heart. Tape Deck Heart.
Okie dokie. Right on. Frank Turner. Yeah, sure. I'm always looking for good new music. If you're into chill stuff from Canada, check out Orca by Winter Sleep. That's pretty cool.
All right.
All right. Well, that's got nothing to do with training, but hey, why not? So I didn't really have anything specific prepared to talk about tonight. I just expected there to be like a bunch of people with questions because everybody wanted me to do this hangout at this time, which actually, to be honest, is the worst time for me to do one because there's literally like a boot camp class going on and there's an instructor with literally like this thing, and I can barely hear you guys right now. So I was like, well, everybody says this is when they want it, and then nobody's here. So there's my grumpy face right there.
Sorry.
No,
too bad on our end.
Yeah, you guys are here, and that's great. So I think what I'll do is I'll just scroll through the Rookie to Rockstar feed, and I'll see if there's any cool questions that have come up lately that I need to hit. Unless Roger, Paige, you have something that One thing I want to say is a shout out to Callie. I don't know if she wants me to, and this is one thing too, and I completely appreciate it, but I do kind of find it a challenge. This is just a mini rant, because it's hump day or something, but just a little rant about testimonials. Now, I've always had no problem getting testimonials from people written, but what people definitely never ever want to do is send pictures. They never want to send pictures. I would say one, especially females, I'd say 1 in 40 to 50 actually sends a picture or is willing to do a picture, to the point where I just stopped asking people for pictures, and photocracy is all hot and heavy for before and after pictures, and I'm like, honestly, man, you can just download those on the internet to your heart's content. They really don't mean shit. Like a written verified testimonial from an actual verified photographer. Anyways, so that's something I've always noticed in the fitness industry. Is there's the Jillian Michaels side of the industry where they've got like this beautiful website, this $1 million website with all of these, this sliding slideshow of testimonials, and I've trained probably 600-700 people in my life, and I've got maybe a handful of pictures, because there's so much more to this than just the way you look, and Photoshop is an incredibly powerful tool. Yeah, well, okay, we'll send it over there, Roger, but that would be great and much appreciated. But I guess one of my points is that I've always found that I like working with the people that are more into the overall process than just like, I want to look great for bikini season. Like, that's nice, but it's not really the thing that's going to push you through the hard days.
Yeah, it's not the point of doing this and getting healthy.
Yeah, and that's just always rankled me.
I put that in the end of my message in my testimonial. You're not getting pictures until the end.
Yeah, that's okay, and it was more. Yeah, that's just something that I've always had a little bit of a thing with.
Well, I mean, you suffer from the terrible thing of being much better at your job than you are at being a salesperson.
Yeah.
Right, and like, when money is the bottom, I mean, you have to eat, right? So it's not nothing, but your focus is on progress, not on
marketing.
Sales brochures. And it's
yeah,
it's really hard to get motivated to do that stuff when it feels kind of alien and kind of icky.
Yeah, and it's just not. I would rather really should be all about me. I guess it wasn't meant to be like that, but I mean, long term, like for me, what's always done me well is actually just doing a good job and having a good reputation, and that kind of, fast flash in the pan marketing, you see those guys kind of come and go, because once people find out that they don't actually, the results are not typical, and it's kind of like, all right, I'm out of here. So yeah, anyways, okay, so the next thing I want, so shout out to Callie, because my whole point of this was she's lost 18 pounds so far, and I was kind of like hesitant to tell people because she told me directly, but she didn't say anything on the group. But I think that kind of information, nobody's going to want to keep that top secret, so great job on that. And this is the same theme that she's kind of this is the same thing that everybody kind of is hitting on, is the consistency is the key. There's nothing miraculous. There's like even sauerkraut is not going to like miraculously change your body. It's more just getting up every day and making a concerted effort to do better. So she's done that. She's had days where she's stumbled, like who hasn't? But she just keeps trying. And a lot of you guys are doing that. I'd say 77% apparently, according to my new trainer dashboard. So that's wonderful, and shout out to her. Other than that, I don't see anything. I'm surprised that we don't have more people on here. One thing I wanted to put out to everyone, because I guess probably a bunch of people will watch this after, and so I'm trying to keep this like to the point. this is actually probably a really good week for you guys to fire off videos of you doing exercises if you have questions. This has always been something that I like. If people send me messages and questions about not sure if they're doing something right, by all means, you can send me a video. But I just wanted to remind people that they can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And the other thing is that I don't know. I should have mentioned this, but I might as well because my brain and my mouth are just immediately connected to each other. I'm actually playing around with a program called Zendesk because it helps me to build it basically helps me to respond to you guys faster. So I may be changing my email address so that emails come directly into that program, and it allows me basically to create tickets and manage the flow of emails and questions coming to me so that I can get responses out faster. It just makes it easier than a to-do list because it's one less step. So
you may want to look at Freshdesk too. It's in some ways it's kind of a rip-off of Zendesk, but it's cheaper and a little easier to use.
Is it easier to use? Because like I've been on the
I haven't really used. I mean, you complained about Salesforce. I'm actually a Salesforce developer, so
sorry.
It's hard for me to.
Well,
I don't work for Salesforce. I work for a company that uses Salesforce, and we like it because of its customization, right? We don't like it because it comes out of the box the way you want it. We like it because we can make it do exactly what we want by tweaking the living hell out of it. And that's not what you want at all. You want to.
No, I don't. I
played
with Salesforce for a while, and
it's overkill for sure.
It was totally overkill. Like I only had 15 trainers, so we only had 3 sales guys. And they were trainers too. Anyways, that's hilarious though. We got a company up here called Radiant 6, and they do social media monitoring for sales.
They're improving it a lot. I work for universities, so we use Radiant 6 a lot to pester prospective students to join us on their Facebook accounts.
Cool. Yeah. Small world. Okie dokie. I'm going to find something to talk about that has something to do with training. I promise. I'm sure.
I have a question for you.
Great questions. I love questions. Okay. I don't have to plan.
So you say there's a little bit of truth in everything. What would you consider to be websites with good reputation in terms of finding nutritional information, like in terms, I don't know, like what's better and stuff like that? What
websites? What websites would I endorse? Excellent question. And I just read this great article about why the Jillian Michaels are going to continue to win if the real fitness pros don't get their collective heads out of their ass as far as shaming clients. And what I'm talking about here is a lot of times we get clients will come in and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw something on Oprah Winfrey because she should be giving nutritional advice." I just did it again. There's and this is kind of alluding back to what we were just talking about with the graphically appealing marketing versus the content-heavy marketing, where you actually have to stop and read something.
Yeah.
And I'm coming back to the point, but I'm gonna go all over. So, and I was listening to a really interesting podcast by a guy named Ramit something about financial planning, and he was talking about how his style of marketing is like we were just talking earlier about. There's there's the quick fix marketing, that really that has the conversion page or whatever. What do you call those pages? The one page landing pages, right? You're trying to get the guy to click on the bottom, and then there's the guys that actually have a lot of content and they want to work with clients for a long period of time and they want to build relationships and they really want to actually make a difference in people's lives, not just that low-hanging fruit, grab a quick $20 and then send them an ebook and then piss off and they're back into the ether. And what was my point? So my point is that that's why my marketing is always kind of based on sending out a big article. And if you're going to take the time to read the whole article, you're going to be 1 out of 100 people. The other 99 won't bother because there's not a pretty picture. But you probably will. You might sign up. Or it's going to be a series of videos that are way more than 3 minutes long, God forbid. And you know, one person in 1,000 might watch them, but they might actually get hooked, and that's all you need. So my point about that was that, what was my point? My point was I have this problem all the time where people come in and they go, I saw something on a website, and is this true? And you know, the problem is that Google doesn't really provide any sort of you know, verification at all. All they're doing is directing you to websites that happen to have the keywords that you typed in. So
yeah, ranked by popularity, not truthfulness.
Yeah, and popularity's like, really, they're suffering from the same problem that television suffered from, which is that, you know, not to quote Oscar Wilde, but everything that's popular is wrong. I think I just did quote Oscar Wilde, but maybe anyway. So I'm I just had this big long existential conversation with two other trainers about this, and they're like, how do we bridge the gap? But in the interim, I actually wrote an article on my website, and it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to Google or something like that. And basically, it's a list of like 100 websites that I would endorse and I would recommend you check out. And the subject matter that they are really good at. And so I'll find that article and I'll put it up.
Awesome, thank you.
And I was actually one of my crazy little guerrilla marketing ideas was to tell all these guys that I was endorsing that I happen to be endorsing them. Yay, Thom approves of you. Whoopity-doo. But and then kind of get like this network going, but I didn't have enough time to actually get that done, so we'll probably do that in the future. But so when the first place I would go to if you want to learn about nutrition, I would go to robwolf.com, and it's not because I'm endorsing paleo, but I kind of am. And paleo is not all meat, but it is a really interesting starting point to counter the ideas that the conventional media is putting out there. Okay, and so and the next place I would go would be chriskresser.com. Let me write these down for you.
Okay.
Rob, that Hitchhiker's Guide you could just post as like a sticky in photography?
That'd be a smarter idea. Thanks, Roger. That's a better idea. See, so I got in this argument with one of my full-time, like, regular clients, like a good spirited argument, you know, not like there was no hair pulling, but and she said, you know, you're always so convinced of your opinion, you never admit you're wrong. I'm like, that's not true. I admit that I try about 100 things a day, and I get about 5 right, and I just move on. The other ones I don't dwell on, and I don't really have a huge problem with that style of. I kind of feel like that's like a Radiohead album, you know? Like, there's 2 songs that just blow you away, and you're like, wow, I never thought of that. And then there's a couple shitty ones, you know? And that's kind of how people get things done in this world. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Internet. So that's a little tribute to Douglas Adams. If you've ever seen or read Douglas Adams, you should, because he's great.
Totally apropos of nothing, but they actually just released some Dirk Gently BBC TV stuff on Netflix.
Oh my God, that stuff's even better than the Hitchhiker's Guide.
Actually, that may have been Amazon Prime Video. I can't remember. I have both, so I can never remember which one I saw it on.
I'm gonna go check that out. Thanks, because I love that. Those, what is it? Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul or something?
Wasn't that the last of the?
I think so.
Yeah.
One where Thor falls in love with this girl. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, he gives up on flying. You know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so
birds are too boring.
If you look at that article, those guys are some of my idols. I've interned with a few of those guys actually, like Dave Tate, Louis Simmons. Yeah, and those are. I should repost this article. Yeah. So, and then if you have if you want to bounce anything off me, it's like, oh, I saw this on here. What do you think of this? This is far from a comprehensive list. This was just a first blush.
Okay.
If you're easily offended, I wouldn't look at Brandon Lilly's stuff. He's a bit of a jerk.
That's all right. Thick skin.
Yeah.
If you keep coming up with more websites like this, feel free to throw them at us.
Yeah, I kind of was trying to figure out if there was some sort of an information product that would organize this kind of stuff and curate it for me. Actually, Roger, or if any, because we have a fair number of IT and developer types on the group, so if any of you know of a specific app, this podcast or this hangout is like 90% fitness industry secrets and 10% actual training and nutrition. But what was my point there? But I was because I was shopping around for software that would help me be more responsive to you guys, and I was thinking to myself, are there any resellers or brokers out there in the world where they know everything about business automation software, and small companies approach them and then they find the right product for them? Because that landscape of Google Apps and that whole CRMs and all of these things is there's 10,000 products out there, and it's just a full-time job.
I think your point's really good in that none of them are good for everybody, right? It would actually be finding the right mix for the your specific needs would be the trick.
There's a business idea for someone that's a business type with a little bit of IT background is start figuring all of them out and then resell them with a commission.
Yeah, I actually wanted to build just a training app that was really more of a here are your workouts, here's your nutrition, tracked by person, built reports for you. That was an app I wanted to build several times. I've just never gotten around to it.
I actually did a startup for 9 months, and we actually got a little bit of government funding won a couple competitions, and it was called Willow, named after my dog. But and it was the same. It was that plus a kind of a trainer dashboard. Okay, we're officially not talking about anything related to getting in shape at this point anymore. But so yeah, that's the list, and I will continue to put new material up on there, and I also will maybe I'll send it out through some social media feeds and see if anybody else wants to suggest other people to check out too. Highlights for this one specifically, I pull off a lot of stuff from Kelly Starrett and Donnie Thompson when it comes to rehab.
I also saw that mobility wad guy. He was the guy I looked at to try to.
That's Kelly Starrett.
Build my ankles back.
Yeah, actually, Donnie Thompson has better stuff on the ankles.
All right, I'll check him out.
Fine.
That's perfect.
So, yeah, and the other thing that is kind of the other thing I guess that I would, if you're trying to assess whether there's truth behind a particular website that you're looking at, I mean, and this is kind of, some of this may sound obvious, but one is flash and the really flashy websites, the ones that, well, one dead giveaway is the ones that are trying to be an expert at everything. So you get the Dr. Oz's, or you get these people that they're trying to pump out solutions to everything and try to grab a lot of different customer eyeballs. So these guys are specialists. They focus on a certain area, and really, some of them shoot themselves in their foot because, Donnie Thompson doesn't even have a proper website. So it's kind of hard to find his material. But they're really not trying to market. They're really too busy, just doing what they love. And so they don't have time for the chicken shit, if you will. So yeah, that's one thing. The next thing is, if you're talking nutrition, there should be, it should be referencing, at least some sort of a study. There should be, and the other thing I find too that really just distinguishes the real knowledgeable guys, the really helpful guys, from the internet wannabe gurus is really the ability to break things down into simple concepts and to not try and blow you over with a lot of fancy words, and taking the time to explain the definitions of things. And I guess that would be the first thing that would be what I would stress. So if you're looking at a piece, like, and the other thing too is if there happens to be a nice quick little sales tag at the bottom, and the product they just spent 10 minutes selling you happens to be available on their website at an introductory rate of $9.99 for 3 bottles. That's so, you know, I get a lot of those sometimes. People will be like, you know, what's for, anyways.
Yeah, no, that stuff's all over Instagram, and it's so sad how many people are buying into it. But Instagram is a good place to market yourself if you can get the before and after photos from all your rookie to rock stars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
I would already be rich if I was willing to do that. I probably wouldn't be rich. I'm not really not that hardworking and not that talented. But I guess then it was just, you know, it's funny too because my financial guy was just saying to me today too. He's like, what do you have set up for your New Year's resolutionist? And you know, and I said, fucking nothing. I usually take the first 2 weeks of January off. It's I would just it's just too much extra effort, like really, and that's just an idea that I'm constantly trying to, and it doesn't really matter to you guys, like you could even stop listening to the podcast at this point. Hangout, sorry, not podcast, because it's just all basically not about training, but it's so much more valuable to get a client that actually wants to learn and grow than it is to get someone that wants a quick fix. For one, quick fixers are draining. They're constantly they don't have questions, they have excuses. You know, they're always looking for they're always looking for a bypass. They're like, well, I know you said this would work, but I don't want to eat that, so can you come up? And, you know, and there's a little bit of that, you know, like, okay, the thought of eating an animal makes me physically ill. It's like, okay, let's work around that. That's a genuine concern. But when you're on substitution number 4, it's like you're not really interested in doing this. You're interested in creating friction so that you can fail and go back to your safe place and blame someone else. And that kind of energy I just have no time for. The idea that a lead is a lead is a lead is bullshit. There's quality, you know, and maybe everyone at some point in their lives is ready to make a change, but I'm not interested in working with someone until they are. And that's got nothing to do with me. You know, I say motivation sometimes, but I read something interesting a couple days ago. It was like, motivation is bullshit, man. Like, motivation is something that goes, you know, it goes away so fast. And if someone hasn't really made that decision for themselves because of their own reasons, then you as a coach, you're not a Jedi mind trick master. You're not going to reach into their soul and get them to flip that switch. All you're going to be able to do is once they've made that decision, you can be the person that removes a lot of friction. And you can be the person that makes them feel like when they make that effort, they are going to get where they need to go. But the idea that you can motivate, I have a hard time buying into that. You know, you can make things easier, but there needs to be that spark in the beginning. I'm not even really sure what I started talking about, but that is a good point to dwell upon. And I guess, you know, and that's like a roundabout way of me thanking you guys. And the reality is that I went online because I am kind of picky about the kind of people I like to work with. I live in a town of 50,000 people. I've already got like 20, 30 people. That's all I'm going to get out of a sample size of that size. So, you know, for me to actually meet new people and grow and have new challenges and work with the kind of people that I want to work with, I'm required to go on the interwebs. And so it's been fascinating, you know, with the help of photocracy, to get an email sent out to a couple 100,000 people and see people trickle back in, you know. And so I think that's the beauty of the internet, is you can actually be selective about the kind of people, because, I mean, at the end of the day, do you really want to go to work with a bunch of assholes, or do you want to go to work with people that you genuinely care about? And I'm, you know, I have goodwill towards all of mankind, but I think only about 5% of the population really digs my shit, and the other 95% just, you know, they just think I'm a loudmouth jerk. So I'd rather just, yeah. So that was my, 10-minute response to your 5-second, like, you could go on Instagram. It's like, yeah, I could. And I probably should, you know. I just post, like, training videos and, like, how-to videos on how to make, or, you know, picture of, like, a really cool meal or something like that. But
that's all that I follow. Like, there's a couple people who are really instructional and, like, they actually teach like you do. Like, because
yeah.
all the ones that they just are selling a product, or these, like, I don't know what they are, these wraps that make you skinny, which is bullshit, you know, stuff like that.
Wraps that make you skinny.
Apparently.
Oh,
And you
those
get
are
an
bullshit, yeah.
anti-cellulite cream.
Yeah, those are bullshit. So is the vibrating, what was that called?
The ab belt thing.
Yeah.
The ab, not
Then
the
there's
ab.
that Mike Chang guy. Oh, God.
Was he the super buff dude that
He's just ripped.
is at the top of
he's
every
gorgeous.
YouTube thing, and he, you know,
Yeah.
6 simple steps to have whatever body
Yeah.
part you want to have look perfect?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, I hope everyone's enjoyed this random series of musings. I don't know. I haven't got any cancellation notifications yet, so I couldn't have done too bad. But I guess we only have 3 people watching. So, yeah, I don't really have anything else to cover, guys. That article, that was a great question. Appreciate that. Probably could have covered that a little faster, but oh well.
Yeah, I've actually got the ankle thing already loaded up, waiting to take a look at it.
Yeah, and
again, with that, consistency is key, right? I do a really great job for a week or so, and then, you know, I blow it off for a while, and
yeah, and that's, well, yeah, a lot of the drills he does are like 5 minutes long, so you have no excuse not to do it once or twice a day. I was going to pull that up, actually. The other thing I kind of wanted to go over, I do kind of want to cover compression, but I'm going to make a video and show you guys how to do that.
Compression?
Yeah, I've just been, not for weight loss, but for compressing joints using wraps, not, like, that's why I said not for weight loss, but to actually compress the joint and then do some mobilization drills on it. I just started playing around with it like 3 months ago, and it has, like, I was looking through my workout logs, and it has made a significant difference. Like, I kind of, like, on a qualitative level, I kind of felt like it was making a difference, especially for my knees, my shoulders, and my elbow. I don't know if I've ever mentioned before, but, like, basically my whole life has been about getting the ever-living shit beat out of me and getting back up. So if it wasn't rugby or blowing things up in the Army or doing strongman or doing powerlifting competitions or doing private security work, well, that's fun too. I've had about 20 major injuries. So every joint in the body, I've had something happen to it, to the point usually where I'd say 85-90% of the time when a client comes in, I can be like, oh yeah, here's how we fix that, because I had to figure it out because my physiotherapists and my doctors basically just told me to stop squatting.
Stay off of it.
Yeah, just rest it.
That's not a great solution. Staying off of it, then I can just spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. Not a good choice.
Yeah, you spend
my
12 years
doctors are all like, stay off of it, you gotta lose the weight, and I'm like, well, you can't do that if you're hurt.
Yeah.
Necessarily. If you want to exercise, lose weight.
And how are you supposed to stay off of it and lose the weight?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And this is what drove me nuts, and I kind of just had this epiphany moment one time where, you know, I was working with this lineman, this huge lineman, like 340, big kid, and he was all beat to shit because his coach was just beating him up for fun, because that's what coaches do sometimes because they suck. And his mom had exactly the same back problems because she weighed exactly the same amount. It's just she wasn't like mostly muscle. She was, carrying quite a bit of fat. And I was like, basically, like when you're overweight, your body's getting beat up kind of the same way, and a lot of the injuries, looked really similar. So I started working with that kind of population and found, dragging a sled or learning how to do a correct deadlift is not just for athletes. It's for people that need to actually start moving their bodies correctly, because part of what has happened as they have added, 5 or 10 pounds per year for like the last 10 years is that their movement quality has decreased at the same time. And Roger, I think you both said it, is like, you can't just say, start exercising when you're not hurt, because you've been hurt for 10 fucking years. Like, what happened was your movement pattern or movement quality broke down, and then you started to gain weight because your movement quality broke down and it hurt to move. And so, we would never say that to an NFL player. We'd never be like, you know what, just sit on the couch earning $6 million a year and don't worry about the next 2 games. We got it. No, we'd be like, you know what, man, like, get your butt in here. Let's get this sorted out. And so a lot of the same ideas, that's where I picked them up. Like Louis Simmons, the guy that created Westside Barbell, he works with the Green Bay Packers. He works with the Dallas Cowboys. He works with like 8 NFL teams. He teaches their strength coach how to do what they do. Luckily, like 10 years ago, he wasn't a huge success yet, and he actually let me hang out with him for a while, so I got to learn a fair bit about how he was doing these things. And, like a couple years ago, I was like, I called him up, and I was like, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about like powerlifting for, because that's kind of what you guys are doing right now. You're doing a very strength-based athletic program. And the reason you're doing it is because it's improving your movement quality, and that is just good for every human being. But I asked him, I was like, what do you think about that idea of like taking the techniques that athletes use, and applying them to people that are dealing with injuries because they're dealing with excess body weight and movement quality is broken down? And he's like, yeah, like what's the point of putting them on a friggin' exercise machine that works one muscle group at a time? He's like, the only people that ever need that are bodybuilders. That kind of approach is not retarded. It's poor. So
it makes sense for a very narrow group of people who want to have certain bits of their body get all huge.
Yeah, and guess what? You could just get all huge by benching and squatting and deadlifting. But yeah, I mean, okay. Well, yeah, and this, yeah. So let me back up before I get like 8 frantic emails. Like so in order to get huge from exercise, you need to have a fair bit of endogenous or in the body testosterone, or you could just go buy some and inject it. But no, I'm not. Okay, I'm totally not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's why these guys are like freakishly big. And the girls, if you see girls that are freakishly big, it's because they're probably taking something extra. So if you're just a healthy female and you start to exercise, you're going to get lean. Your upper body is not going to get bulky. It might get a little bit bulkier for a bit because the muscle is going to grow underneath the fat. But then the nice thing is that muscle is literally going to be like a flesh-eating, and it's going to mow down all that muscle right after. So there is going to be a period, like sometimes it's hard for people where they feel like, oh, my legs are actually getting thicker. And it's like, yeah, but that's only going to be for like a week, and then they're going to start getting slimmer. So don't worry about it. But okay, well, we covered a lot of different subjects there. This one's going to be a fun one to mark up. I don't know if I'm going to even try to mark this one up. I usually don't, because they're just too meandering. But apparently lots of people watch them, so, well, not lots, like, 20.
I totally dug the rant you did, that same Thursday morning right before I got sick. I got a huge kick out of that, and I had every expectation of replying to you, and then I went down a rabbit hole.
Which rant? Was it?
It was just a random rant you posted about consistency and...
The motivational?
Motivational, yeah, just...
Motivational.
And that hard work can be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it can, eh? I know, it's like, I don't get people like that. You know, oh, this is hard. Like, so is winning a Super Bowl. Like, those guys look pretty stoked after that, you know? I don't know. Yeah. So that's, and I mean, we all, like, and I'm not trying to act like, you know, I'm better than anybody. I'm not. I'm totally, you know, like there's days where I'm like, I'm just gonna like literally binge watch an entire series of a TV show, and I'm gonna eat a bag of Cheetos, and not very often. I'd probably go nuts if I didn't eat well, but it does happen. Like everybody has shitty days, everybody has low moods, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But yeah, I was really inspired that day actually by this group and by comments I was getting from people, and it made me feel great. It made me feel very proud and really, really happy that people were getting healthier and realizing that, you know, this isn't something that is that it's not. Yeah, it's hard, and I'm not trying to marginalize the work, but yeah, it's a lot of fun too. Easy's boring, you know. Like, when have you ever played a video game and been like, oh, I love this. This is so easy. I'm already on level 73 and I'm 8+ on agility, or I don't know. I don't play video games. But do you know what I mean? It's like the whole point of, you know, and then it's the same with like beautiful women. Like you're always like trying to get to the next level in life. You're always trying to level up. And so the idea that, you know, I just don't understand that.
The challenge is what's fun.
Yeah. Like learning a language or like cooking, you know, like let's learn. I don't know. I guess there's some things I don't like too. I'm trying to empathize with the people that, you know, are going to feel like I'm crapping all over them right now, and I'm not really. I'm just trying to.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who had really bad histories with physicality. You know, they were kind of the pudgy kid in 3rd grade who got picked on by all the not pudgy kids in 3rd grade, and so they just associate PE with evil and movement with like just being really downtrodden in their lives.
Yeah,
and it's very, very, you know, recovering from that isn't easy.
Yeah,
turning that around takes a certain, you know, big mindset change, and that's, you know, doing that isn't easy for anybody.
Yeah, you know, it's always hard for me because it's actually, Rob Wolf will say, like 1/3 of your clients are just never going to get it, and you're just better off not trying, and you're better off focusing on, you know, the 70% that are gonna buy in. There's going to be 1/3 that just get it right away. There's going to be another 1/3 that they're going to have some struggles, but they're gonna make that switch, and then there's 1/3 that no matter what you say, they're going to figure out a way to twist it. And like, it just, you know, and for me with my background, having grown up, like, you know, I had like 2 parents that were both addicts, like you name it, they were into it, and I ran away when I was like 17 to join the Army. So that's the kind of like upbringing I had. You know, I got into weightlifting because I got beat up in grade 7, and I didn't like getting beat up. I was like, that sucks. So I'm gonna lift weights. And it might not be the most, you know, politically correct way to deal with bullying, but, you know, so I guess my point is that when I see people that they're stuck, I want to help them because I've seen people like that in my own family, and I haven't been able to help them. So, you know, it's kind of that thing where you're always tinkering. You're always like, well, maybe if we did this, or maybe if I related to them on this level. But at the same time, you don't want to get dragged down by those people to the point where you're not able to help the other 2/3. So, you know, I'm always, you know, that's the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. I'll be thinking about that. Like, well, what else could I do? You know, and I'm actually one of the powerlifters that we have that just broke a world record a couple weeks ago, or well, she broke it a couple months ago. But she was picked last in gym class every single time. She hated sports. Her husband's actually like Mr. Athlete. He plays everything under the sun, and but now she's a powerlifter, and it's amazing. Like it's literally been about 2 years she's been working with me, but it's amazing the little things that change when you go from feeling like this is an area of your life that you suck at, and you start to see. And it was even like a month in where I was kind of like, and I'm sorry, well, I'll shut her down soon because I'm just basically ranting about random stuff. But hey, but it was literally like a month in that I was training this girl, and we got her to do like a 100-pound rack pull, you know. And I was like, you just lifted 100 pounds. And she's like, no way. She didn't believe me. She thought I was lying to her, right? She's like, no way. And I was like, no, yeah, you just lifted 100 pounds. And she's like, well, what can people normally? She was trying to marginalize. She was trying to make it like not a big deal, right? And I was like, actually, normally by now people are usually stuck at 45 pounds for a while, but you're doing really well. And she's like, and she thought I was joking with her, and I wasn't. Like, I don't bullshit people. Like, I'm not gonna like lie to you just to try to get you to, because then when you find out I'm lying to you, all the things that were built upon that will disappear as well. So, because I've made that mistake before. But anyways, yeah, and so I think 3 months later I was like, you know, you're actually doing really great. You should think about coming to our next powerlifting competition. And she's ended up now. She's just she was just working out like an hour ago, and she's like pulling 250. She weighs 95 pounds, so she's a freak, you know. And she still doesn't buy it. Every now and then she'll kind of like, you know, talk to herself like she's the 13-year-old that like the gym teacher tried to flunk out of high school. And so I think it's kind of amazing, you know, the things that you can do, things that people can learn about themselves through exercise. Anyways, I guess that's all we're gonna get. I was all excited to have like a big group tonight. I guess I'm just gonna keep doing hangouts until I learn to say hangout instead of podcast, and I'll keep doing them this week until I get a bunch of people and a bunch of different questions. All right, guys. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'll let you just get back to your days because you probably have better things to do than listening to me.
I had one little question.
Okie dokie.
Well, I don't know if you saw it. I did some ridiculously stupid workout yesterday because my friend was like, "Oh, come to the gym with me."
Yeah.
And I was like, "So let me tell you what I've been learning."
Was it you that wasn't doing? You didn't do like 40. You did like some weird one, right?
I did. I was just showing her like deadlifts and squats and stuff because like last time I went to the gym with her and because she's going to Planet Fitness, like I got in the squat rack with her and like I was so off balance and my knee was so bad, like I picked up that barbell and I fell flat on my ass and I was like, check this out. But, so I was talking to her.
Were you on a Smith machine rack or just a regular rack?
Just a regular squat rack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the Smith machines, I don't understand how that would work if it's limiting your motion. So I stayed away from it.
It's not great for most things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
the only thing, you know what a Smith machine's really good for is doing inverted or incline push-ups.
Okay.
Because you can just adjust the thing. So that was the only thing I ever used to use them for. That and jumping chins. So you'd like set the Smith machine up and you'd jump up to the top and then back down. But jumping chins are a little bit. We're not quite there yet. So.
Yeah. I was looking at that though for like the overhead press and stuff like that. Would that be okay to add in? Like I have a barbell, I don't have extra weights at home, so I'm trying to find things I can fill my time in with if I'm not going with her to the gym. And
okay, so you were thinking maybe you should do an overhead press in the Smith machine?
Well, that was the only. I don't know if I was going to knock her over with the barbell or myself, but like that I think is the only thing I could see the Smith machine being used for efficiently if it's just the vertical line. Yeah,
I use it all the time. Well, not all the time, but I've used it several times. See you guys. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. The one benefit of the Smith machine is that it's counterbalanced, so that barbell doesn't actually weigh anything. This is also why the meatheads love it, because they can finally do a 315 bench press, but they're actually only doing 275. So, just saying. Okay. And by the way, but you do have to be aware that there's the amount of coordination required to do it isn't as great as with a barbell.
Okay.
But maybe that's not a big deal. The other thing you might want to try doing is a one-handed. It depends on the quality of the Smith machine. If it's a good Smith machine, if you push it with one hand, it'll still stay straight. If it's a cheap one, it won't work. So I would try it out though. Absolutely. It would be that your goal should be to move towards being able to press a 45-pound bar overhead.
I have one right here in my apartment. So.
Are you just worried that it's a little too heavy?
Oh no! Oh God, no. Not at all. I was just not familiar with the motion, so I was just trying to figure out like if that would be efficient for getting the motion down before like, screwing something up with the barbell, like wrist-wise, or if I should just go for it.
I think if you're going to go for it, I would warm up with 5 and 10, maybe even 15-pound dumbbells.
Okay.
Because you got to remember that's 45 pounds. Holy cow.
Yeah.
17 messages. I don't know, 17 messages. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, I would start off with dumbbells. But the other thing you can do to practice the movement is just use just take a broomstick and unscrew it. We do that all the time in the gym here. We use broomsticks all the time. So it's not like a training wheels thing. The other thing is that, yeah, you could just use that bar. It's a lot safer. And then once you get to the point where you're able to lift 2 10-pound plates on either side of it, then I would try the 45 pounds. Because at that point, you're probably lifting about 40 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I just reweighed the barbell. I've been marking it wrong in my workouts.
Why? How much does it weigh?
It's 45 pounds, not 40. When I did the math, because I can't figure out how to make my scale go from English to American English.
Right.
My fiance's from England, and he reset it. So it's how he understands it, and I don't. So I did the math wrong, and I thought it was 40 pounds, and I actually figured out it was 45, but not too bad. I've been doing my deadlifts with it and stuff like that, my squats now. So.
Perfect. So, yeah, almost all bars are 45 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I could have told you that.
No, it's all right. I didn't.
Or 20 kilograms. That's another real popular.
Yeah.
It's what, 44 pounds?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on if they're like an Olympic weightlifting bar or just the York barbell, or if you're buying one, or if you found one like at a sports store and you didn't pay $300-400 for it, it probably weighs 45 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, I got it off some guy who's like, oh, I was doing Olympic lifting for a while and I have 2 barbells.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Whatever.
It works.
The actual like Olympic weightlifting bars can cost you anywhere from a couple $100 to like $1,500. But I don't even have one of those. Those are crazy. I have a deadlift bar that's just, it bends different. It's a long story. Anyways, there's there's dozens of different bars you can buy. When you're like right hardcore into powerlifting. Yeah, it's just like golf clubs. I have one client, he gives me a hard time about all these bars that I have, and I'm like, how many golf clubs do you have? I'm like, you only play once a week. So, okay. Anyways.
Are there any other movements that we could be adding into, like that you would recommend, or just keep sticking with what's going on?
Yeah, so I feel like probably I'm going to throw down 2 new workouts for next week, just because you guys seem to be kind of hungry for new stuff. So I'll do that now, and they'll just have new movements. So we'll be doing a overhead barbell press, a full deadlift, so deadlift off the floor instead of a rack deadlift. We'll start introducing the mechanics for kettlebell swing. So just to teach a proper kettlebell swing. If you guys don't have kettlebells, you can use dumbbells. That's fine too. And if you don't have those, you can use sewing machines. Really.
But I actually started, because I don't have a barbell, and I've just been using those cheese ball weights. And I've been going all the way to the ground with those cheese ball weights. The bungeed together dumbbell thing.
Yeah.
Which, is about the same distance off the floor a barbell would be.
Do you have to work out? Like, is it feasible for you to get a barbell?
Feasible, yes, if I can find one for a price I'm prepared to pay. Yeah.
You should be able. I don't know what the local economy is like. You should be able to buy one for like $60.
Yeah, I mean, all I can find are new ones that are $200 and $300, and used ones that are
it's because of the
gone by the time I get a hold of them.
It's that cursed CrossFit craze.
Cursed CrossFit craze.
They're driving the price of Chuck Taylors up now, barbells. Don't worry. In 6 months, it'll be, I don't know, rhythmic gymnastics or something. Everybody will be doing it. Barbells will be cheap again. Don't worry about it. So, I'm trying to think of where you can find a cheap barbell. Hold on. I feel like there is a
Because I could find a bunch of cheap ones that are those skinny ones with the screw-on things, but I don't want to deal with those. Right, exactly.
No. Okay, I'll check that out. And then, any other questions, guys?
No, sorry to keep dragging this out.
Oh no, it's okay. This is the easiest part of my day. Is just doing these. It's the notes that I have here that I have to add to the to-do list. It's already scrolled through 2 pages. I'm actually putting it off right now by chatting away. So, anyways, I should get back to work though.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everybody that's watching after. Cheers. Bye. Mr. Olympia.